Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
And the Chargers don't have a great defense. The Broncos do, but the Chargers don't. And Russell Wilson, Rob, I mean, if this continues, this is one of the most stunning falls from grace in recent memory. I mean, we talk about Peyton Manning the year before he fell off. They ended up winning the Super Bowl when he was in, his worst season at the end of his career last year. But the year before, Rob, he had put up some good numbers, really nice numbers. And it just hit him quickly. But Peyton Manning was 39 years old. Russell Wilson is 33. He'll be 34 in November, but he's 33 right now, Rob. No one, least of all, the Denver Broncos, who gave him that huge contract a few weeks ago, expected him to perform this poorly. And look, he's a bit banged up, the shoulder, now hamstring. He's in a new system. His coach is a rookie coach who's having his own struggles.
Remember, they had to hire somebody after week one. Wasn't it? They had to hire somebody to help
manage the games. Yeah. So it's not ideal. Lost, Tim Patrick, the receivers out. But still, this is worse than I think even his biggest distractors could have predicted for Russell Wilson. And do you think, I asked Ephraim Salam this, do you think he's washed?
And while we're doing sports, I might as well go ahead and talk about something else that I had said about one of my favorite people. I don't get in trouble behind this particular person is Russell Wilson. And people are down on him in Colorado, as they should have been. They should have been. Because Russell Wilson was far more interested in being a fashion mogul and a jet setter than being a football player. And everybody knows in the NFL, you can't be those two things at the same time, okay? Football is almost like being a hedge fund manager. You have to be singularly focused on that task. Otherwise, you're not going to do it very well. And when you can't be singularly focused on that task, then you got to get out. And I thought when Russell was in Seattle, he did an adequate job is because there wasn't as much attention. But the thing is, when he went to Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, with Denver, basically, and all the hype that's around Colorado right now, and all the moguls that are around him, and the people that brought him in, and the fashion moguls that were around him, and all those high-powered women, he got carried away. In other words, he's not at that stage yet, at least not at that stage in his career where he can actually do that. That's something he should do after he retires, in my opinion. And that's what I said at the time. And you can see when he tried to do both, he tried to be this famous mogul and this internet personality, it clashed with him playing football. And rightfully so, the coach got rid of him because the previous coach that got fired says, come on, Russ, I need you to focus and be a football player. That other stuff you're going to have to leave behind. But the thing is, Russell Wilson is stubborn. He thought he could do both, and it didn't work out. So thus he got canned with his contract. They had to give him a whole bunch of upfront money. It cost Denver a hell of a lot of cash to get rid of him. But they did. He walked away with his money, and people thought he was done. Lo and behold, Mike Tomlinson, who recognized his talent, got him, picked him up for cheap, basically using Colorado's money to pick him up for cheap, and inserted him behind a young kid. Now, to be fair, Tomlinson gave the kid the nod the first few games, and with mixed results. But at the end of the day, Pittsburgh wants to win, and there's no way you're going to have a former Super Bowl quarterback on your team and not utilize him. So they pulled him out of storage, they put him in, and since Pittsburgh is not mogul center or a fashion center, and Smitty Jean said the same thing, ain't no Ain't no fashion store in Pittsburgh. You ain't got nothing else to do but play football. So guess what Russell Wilson is doing right now? Playing football. There's no whole bunch of Sierra dance videos or no publicity stunts in Pittsburgh. He's basically playing football. And guess what happened? Lo and behold, the old Russell Wilson comes out of storage. This team is 7-2, and they're talking Super Bowl. Now, do I think they'll make it? I don't know. I don't know if Pittsburgh has enough to make it. But Mike Tomlinson has the defense together, and he's got his quarterback, and he's got his receivers. He's got an adequate running back. So you put that into the mix. The Rams went to a Super Bowl on that. The Rams won a Super Bowl on that with those two things: a decent running back, a fairly good receiving core, and an adequate quarterback. And they won a Super Bowl with that. So they do have a chance. So I just want to say, BGS was right again. If Russell Wilson decided to concentrate on playing football, he could remain or basically regain his top 5 form as far as a quarterback. And a lot of his detractors, I'm going to try to find it. They were talking down on him. I mean, really talking down on him, talking about he was finished. They have reverse field and they're singing his praises right now. Now, much like they're singing Colorado's praises. So for a lot of people that don't think that I know what I'm talking about as far as sports is concerned, especially since I don't follow it every day anymore. Well, I used to be a football gambler. So basically you had to follow this stuff, all the stats, all the teams, all the happenings, the trades and all that kind of stuff. So I spent like 10, 15 years, man, basically being a fan, but also a football bettor. So doing that, you get pretty intense on following the ins and outs of football and how the organization works. I mean, you don't quite get the on the ground level of plays and formations and all that kind of stuff, which you can pick up rather quickly. But you get to recognize talent. You get to recognize abilities and tendencies of teams. Like last year, it was funny. It was last year when Kansas City won the Super Bowl, man. I was laughing. I was laughing because I was basically damn near calling plays before they even happened. Because, man, after 50 years of seeing this, man, I got to remember I started following the Rams in 1967 when I was 8 years old. So that's damn near 60 years of following football. So you pick up some things. You pick up some things when you're an avid fan. When you're an avid fan like that, you pick up some things. When you're an avid sports fan, you pick up some things. I was a basketball gym rat, just like my son. And you talk to these people, you work with these people, man. I used to be down watching the UCLA football players play and watching their practices. And I'd be down at USC watching the Heritage Hall, watching the football players go by and walk and lift weights and shit like that. So, and then I'd be, we have 2 football teams. We had 2 football teams in Southern California, which are the Rams and the Raiders. So basically, when you see this stuff from Pop Warner all the way up to the pros, man, you get a good feel of football and football talent. So I might not be 100% expert at sports because I didn't play the game at that level, but the thing is, I know what I'm talking about on a basic level. Probably far more than most people. Probably far more than most casual fans. And then when you follow the money like I do, because I learned that really sports is most sports, all sports, even college sports, are entertainment. And once you recognize that sports, college sports are on upper entertainment, and there's a money factor that goes along with it, then you get both sides, and then you get really in depth about how the whole scheme works and how people see the sport that they play. And Russell Wilson is pretty easy to actually gauge, is because 1, he's very smart. Number 2, he's very capable. He's intellectual and he's got abilities. It depends on where his focus is. So he was a pretty easy person to gauge. And when he went up to the Broncos, to Denver, and laid an egg, he wasn't that bad. Okay, he was adequate, but he was playing below his potential. And I saw that. I said, because he's not focused. And as soon as he got to Pittsburgh and he focused, all of a sudden, basically, the old Russell Wilson came back. So, anyhow, man, I just wanted to rub that into a lot of salt into a lot of people's ideas that think they know shit. Funny as hell. Rookies. Civilians. Man, I'm starting to get irritated with these goddamn civilians. You're supposed to be experts at politics and sports and all this kind of crap, and you're not. And that's what bothers me. At least I know enough to not call myself a goddamn expert. Anyhow, that's all I got for you guys. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.